Hello there.
Well,
It is Friday,
yeah,
July 29th, 2016. I'm Jess Lamar Reece Holler, and we're here in Holmes County, kind of 5 miles from Millersburg and pretty close to Killbuck, too. We're sitting
that's
with
right.
Ralph Straits.
Did you come up 35 then?
I came up a whole bunch of ways and got
Oh,
turned around, so.
I knew it.
We're with Ralph Straits at the Straits Brothers
Right,
Farm,
right.
and this is an interview for the Ohio Ecological Farm and Movement Memory Project.
Okay.
So, Ralph, can I have you introduce yourself?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Ralph Straits, and the boys are pretty much taking over the farming operation, but we call it the Straits Brothers Farm now. Anyhow, I started hunting answers about 51 years ago. Well, a little less than 51 years ago, because I had a retarded daughter, and I was never satisfied. Why? And so I wanted to know why. Of course, I was always asking that question. Yeah. Well, then the next thing you know, the cows were showing all kinds of problems, and of course, then you'd ask the veterinary, "What's the problem? Why is it this? Why is that?" "Oh, well, that's just the way it is. Whatever. That's kind of whoa. I guess the phone still works. Anyhow,
I'll repeat that real quick.
Okay.
Okay, and we're back.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
So you were saying you started looking at organics when
yeah,
your daughter was
I
born.
started hunting answers about 50 years ago. Anyhow, I had a retarded daughter, and I always wanted to know why. And well, then, so at that time we were using 2,4-D and all the insecticides, and had a sprayer, and I was going out spraying for other people, and I had this stuff on my hands all the time. The sprayer would plug up, and well, boy, oh boy, not knowing what was doing. But anyhow, got through that. Anyhow, while the cows weren't doing so good, and kept getting worse and worse, and you could just tell. But nobody, the county agent, well, I can get you somebody to help or whatever, but no, they never had an answer. They never had an answer. So anyhow, I just kept digging, and little articles I'd read, or I'd get the hunting things, and so anyhow, found out it was different minerals, and well, I was trying to analyze the cow whenever they were sick or whatever, personally, if I could, what might be the problem. Well, that's hard when you don't know much about it. So anyhow, well, I found out that maybe some of these minerals we're using isn't right or something, maybe. I was hunting different. I would get different places. I went different places to get different things, and so anyhow, lo and behold, the next thing you know, we was using. Then they got me on the Farm Bureau Board of Directors in town here, and I thought, why do I want to be on here? But I wanted to learn. So I was. So they thought, well, boy, you need a real good soil analysis and a good, fertilizers. Oh, okay, that sounded good. Something struck me a little bit, and so we tried that. But my gosh, I went through it, and anyhow, they had me putting on 800 pounds of this chemical fertilizer to the acre. Well, that next year I almost had nothing, no crops, hardly. It was really hurt. So anyhow, we kind of got through that. That's when I was really hunting something that was kind of more natural. So then what do you call them out of Pennsylvania? The
Rodale?
Huh?
Rodale? Rodale?
No, not Rodale. Fertilizer. Anyhow, I got to talking to those people, and I found out a guy out here in Holmes County that's already trying to be a dealer. So anyhow, we started using some, okay? Well, you notice, something's churning here, something's turning. So anyhow, we was using that, and so anyhow, then also, on top of that, a Shackley dealer was through here, and he was telling me about this Basic H. You've heard of that, I bet you.
What is it?
It's a liquid. But it's a Shackley Basic H, and it's all natural. And here, I went with him to a meeting in Ashland. I went to a meeting in Michigan, and I met people, all kinds of people. And then one in Michigan, I met people there that was from California. Those organic raisins, they were there, and they were praising this Shackley Basic Age. So hey, Mr. Me was going to try this. So I did.
And what were your crops at the time?
What was my crops?
What were you growing?
Well, hay, clover, and corn, and probably at that time it was probably been wheat, or I don't know if I was using spelts then, but those kind of grains to try to feed for the cows. I was trying to raise stuff for the cows.
And you sold cows for meat?
Huh? No, milk.
Milk cows.
Yeah. Anyhow, we got to going on that, and that Shackley, and I started spraying. Oh, this farm back here, it had all kinds of Canadian thistles and stuff, coming up, and nice big spots of it, and they told me that'll fix them. So I tried it, and I got to one of them big spots, and I'd go around the ring, and give it another shot, and that Basic H, you see, we put all these chemicals on, and it's got the ground so hard, it can't take water anymore. And it's, so anyhow, so lo and behold, Basic H loosened it up. But today you'll find a big argument that, oh no, that won't work. You gotta, the scientists, the regular scientists, they like to think that they know how to get rid of those weeds, okay? So they go out there and catch them at the right hour, and they will tear them up or whatever, that's how they tried to kill them. Well, I found out, I knew I could do it ahead of that, but not many people would hear you. So, but it worked for me, and we still use it. And today, farmers up in Canada and different places are getting, it's growing again. So, so there's more than one way to kill a rat.
Do you remember when you were searching for answers, how did you first hear about organic farming? Was it a particular person or a magazine or?
Well, probably, I suppose. I don't know. Anyhow, that's different. Oh, I know. There was a speaker that came through Holmes County, and they knew I was interested in something of this nature. And he was taught over in the foreign countries. Well, he knew how it worked over there. Well, that's how. Well, then I got with them, and then okay. And he had a dealer in Pennsylvania, so some of them was starting to bring stuff into Holmes County, but it didn't last very long. I don't know if I never understood why or what, but anyhow, that kind of ended. So that's when I went to Fertrell. I ran into those people and found out that, okay, this works, this is working. So, we went from there, and cows were getting better, and, it was just, you could just see it. You see it. You can't, you tell somebody, but, nobody hears this. So anyhow, but that was happening, and, we just kept going, and then next thing you know, another speaker came from Germany, and he's taught in 3 countries over there, and I happened to be on the board of directors up at the training center at the time. Oh my gosh, did that man get into me. I mean, don't you know what's going on here and all this, And that's how he got right in front of my face, and he was serious. I said, this man can't be clear wrong.
What was he saying?
Well, that all these chemicals are just killing us.
And do you remember, did you always farm with chemicals, or was there a time?
Yes, about 50 years ago, I was using all the good stuff, and that's when I used that 800 pounds of chemical fertilizer, and it almost shut me completely off. The reason is, our land right here was never glaciated, and it's clay, and it stayed here what we put on. It didn't go down and visit the neighbor, it stayed here. And that's why it hit me first. So yeah, it was so obvious that, oh my. But anyhow, yeah. But yeah, then I got the Fertrell. Then next thing you know, there was another gentleman from Michigan come through, and his dad had sold organic stuff for most of his life. So that kind of triggers you a little bit. So you start to think, well, maybe I'll follow him a little bit and see what's going on here. So anyhow, well, that's what we did, and now today we have no sick animals. We haven't had the vet on the property for 4 years, and it's just we almost lost the place. Really, almost lost it. So close. They had one farm up for sale, and luckily I was probably a nice guy, and the banker was very good to me and says, we'll help you out, just like that. And that's whew.
This is when you were just starting with organics?
No, well, that was before the organic. They didn't know too much about the organic stuff yet, but anyhow, that's when I started buying the Fertrell stuff, and I was borrowing money to get the stuff every year, and we went through that hole for a number of years. Then we got to the John Small out of Michigan. He got me on some other things that we didn't, it helped a lot for health for the cows and such. Okay. Well, here's a product called DE, diatomaceous earth. Well, we started feeding that. We don't have any flies. That's strange. Well, then, lo and behold, I was starting to have people come to get milk and different products or something, want them to raise them for them, And, well, what do you know? That DE, there was one professor, he taught in I don't know how many colleges, and he came in here, was getting some milk because he was getting older, his health wasn't too good. He heard that I should keep drinking this kind of milk. Okay, so he did. And he was coming here for, I don't know, it was a month or maybe 6 to 8 weeks, I don't know. I wasn't keeping track. But anyhow, he was getting to a place where I thought he was kind of nosy, He'd just going in the barn, walking out to the cows, and and I thought, I wonder who this guy really is. And so anyhow, he got out there and he says, Mr. Straits, I want to tell you something. He says, you don't have any flies. Oh, I said, yes. I said, yeah, we got flies. We aren't out of flies. He said, no, you don't know anything about flies. I said, oh, yes, I do. I said, I know the flies were so bad in the milk house that you kept your mouth shut or you were eating them. He says, you're right. That's what he did. He went around to these large dairies and sprayed and sprayed and sprayed. He said, I go there sometimes every 3 weeks. He said it'd be 1,500, 1,800, and oh my, hundreds of dollars for the bill, And he was found out what I wondered what we was using. I told him. He finally, anyhow, one Sunday evening he came in here. I was in here. Anyhow, he said, Mr. Straits, he says, I learned more in this little short time I come out here than I did in my 40 years of teaching. I said, oh my gosh. He says, yes, he says, you're certainly doing something right. So then he started buying some, taking some of his customers. I said, well, he won't dare to take it to too many of them. He won't have any business.
How did people react when you started looking for
Well, you didn't know how to answer a lot of them because you don't know them. You don't know these people. You don't know what they're up to. Or, because I was the bad guy out here. And, everybody called, well, a lot of people wouldn't speak to me or, because you're the bad guy.
Why? Why bad?
Well, because you weren't following extension people's recommendation and all the modern way of doing things. I was being a little bit on the contrary side. So, that's how that kept going. And, it was just one thing after another. But we've got cancer research people coming here. We've got, it's all kinds of people. anymore. But you know, they don't dare to show their face because they'll lose their job.
Did you find answers you were satisfied with about your daughter's health and?
Well, it was that 2,4-D and that insecticides. Yes, that's what it was. That guy from Germany. Yes, oh my, he got right in me. He said, "Don't you know that's what it is?"
Did you change how you ate and how your family ate?
We changed over the years. My wife was a little slow about it because you know you don't just jump and well, which is right, but we gradually came into it. Yes, it just I mean it's just so obvious. Now I had 8 kids, so most all of them are doing things naturally or buying. Well, like Sue, the nurse down Worthington, well they got plenty of, they got more money than they have, you know. Anyhow, why they can go buy the best. So that's what they do. So when she comes up here, well, she buys some stuff and my gosh, you don't want to know the price because you couldn't afford that stuff, you know.
Well, starting out like in the 60s or 70s when you were looking into this, where did you go to find natural foods? Do you remember?
Well, you didn't. You had to raise them, and then you had to go to farmers markets and that thing. Maybe they didn't use whatever. And here I find out now that a lot of those farmers markets were using Basic H. How about that? So anyhow, I still got it, and when we spray our fish and seaweed on our hay and whatever, well, yeah, these potatoes right out here, I say this ground, you can't see it from here, right out there, there's not a bug or anything on there, nothing. Whenever you get your ground in shape, the plant will develop enough sugar, the right kind of sugar, and the bugs will love it, but they'll eat it and die. They get intoxicated and die. They can't take it. So that's why all these sprays and stuff has come into the market, because you had to kill the bugs, you had to kill the bugs, you had to kill the weeds, you had to kill the weeds.
But you don't have to deal with that.
Oh no. And also then in the years here coming by, we found our supplier out of Michigan. He told us about live earth. Okay, it's coming out of a mine out there in, I think, Colorado, or I went out in there someplace. But anyhow, well, he happened to be out there because he knew some of the guys. He happened to be out there at the mine that day. He was there. There was some doctors there and whatever, and they was all got kind of a jabbering spree going. And well, here the doctors that are jumping the fence now are using that live earth, and they're selling it on the markets across the country for, we get it all the time. You'll get 2 bottles for $39 or, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's what it is. It only costs them 2 cents. It's 90-some minerals, and they're all natural. And it's 2,000 years old, and everybody's trying to get a hold of that mine, and these 2 fellows that own it, they will not budge so far. So, you know, time will tell, but yeah, it's been a miracle to us. I mean, yeah, I mean, it just, nothing gets sick, nothing, I mean, that's what's missing is our vitamins and minerals. Good ones. That's why we're sick. So, you know, live and learn, wake up. So, you know, but anyhow, that's, so now we've got veterinarians coming here buying heifer calves off of us, and they're taking hold and raising them organic because they would lose their license if they told them they were using organic.
The vets.
The vets.
Why do you think the system, the medical system, the veterinary system, parts of the agriculture system, why do you think they say organic is impossible?
They don't dare because they'll lose their license. It's not nice. That's not nice at all.
Because of where the money comes from?
For sure. Monsanto just got more money than anybody else, and they tell everybody what to do. So, so we have to kind of live between the lines a little bit and use our own heads a little bit.
On that note, do you remember starting to find other farmers who were feeling this way? Do you remember any people you met in the early days?
Well, it was when I got in that Fertrell outfit, then I started meeting some farmers that were starting to use it.
In Ohio?
Yeah, right. Do
you remember who?
Huh?
Do you remember who some
Well, not exactly. I guess I wouldn't dare say names, but yeah, it was obvious. Anyhow, well, they were all excited, and so, then the next thing you know, then about that time, OFA got started, and Winston Price Foundation.
Are you involved with the Weston Price
Oh,
Foundation?
I've been ever since they got started.
Tell me about that.
Oh, well, it was, I met her in down Columbus, and we just had, actually I helped them a little bit because at that time we were feeding some coconut oil. And oh, she just about flew out of her seat.
Who's that? Who's she?
What's her name?
Oh, Sally.
Yeah, Sally Fallon.
Sally Fallon. Okay.
Yeah, she just about. So she called her husband that night, and they started feeding coconut oil to their beef.
Give them more healthy fat.
Yeah, right. Yep. So anyhow, there's been quite a lot of arguments about here of recent about the fats, and yeah. So it's oh my, all the people I've met has just been unreal, and just sitting here out on the porch, and people come and want to know this or that, unreal, just breathtaking.
Do you feel like you've become a teacher?
Not really. I sure some have depended on me because they'll call me every once in a while, or do you think this is all right or that, or and so yeah. So yeah, it's it. Oh, it's all over. It's all over the world right now. Well, this is in 50 states right now and 9 foreign countries. So it's just growing by leaps and bounds.
How did you find the Weston A. Price Foundation?
Well, I guess I was still hunting answers, and they was having a meeting in Columbus with Sally, and that's how I went down, and they had a meeting, and that's how I kind of got started, and that's how I joined the outfit, and been ever since.
Do you eat paleo diet or eat this way?
You
eat according to this?
Not 100%, but you know how to use your head. That's put up here on your shoulders for a reason. Use it.
Personally, what kind of things do you eat or not eat? Are there certain foods you try to avoid?
Oh, we just try to keep away from all the. Oh no, I won't eat at a fast food place or any of those kind of places. And anyhow, we just found out our certifier here some months ago now. But anyhow, he said, he was down in Kentucky. He says, guess what? He said, you know how they're killing the beef today? Well, no. Well, what? Because, it was inhumane to bang them in the head or shoot them or, that kind of thing. So now they're putting a chemical in behind the ear 10 minutes before they are dead. It keeps the meat red. The meat will stay red in the store.
Can't be good for you.
What can I say? It's not nice. It's not nice. But, the big boy wants to make his money, and so you better use your head.
Did you consider yourself an environmentalist ever? Did you ever consider yourself an environmentalist?
I guess I am. I really am. I mean, there's no other way around it because I've straightened up the soil when I was using that Basic H on these fields around here that had all those weeds, and I got rid of the weeds, those big nasty ones. I mean, come on. Now then they'll argue with me. because science didn't say that. Science said you got to do it this way. Well, okay. Well, use your head again. It's up here. You better be a-thinking. So, it's just, that basic H is something that they developed, and he had health. And I also, in my process of trying to get my health back, they sent me to, I don't know how many different doctors across the country, heart doctors and whatever, Well, then I went to electrocardiograms, and, well, then the next thing I know, she'd say, why are you using this? Oh, I said, oh, okay. I said, well, I said, I kind of got to be using Shackley's stuff quite a number of years ago. What's your problem? She said, it isn't. She says, it's the best there is. And she told me how good my heart was then. And I got home and I told some doctor and people and that again. She said, did she tell you that? I said, well, yeah. Well, she'll lose her job. See, this medical world is so corrupt.
No, it's your story. You can say whatever you'd like.
But, you don't like to think that way, but you have to consider your own life. You have to consider a lot of things and use your own head, because it's up there. The good Lord put it up there for a reason, and you better be using it.
So what was it like for you to try to figure out how to farm more naturally at a time when no one was doing it? What was it like emotionally?
Don't even think. Because I had to keep it myself, because my brothers and sisters wouldn't talk to me anymore, and that kind of thing,
Were they conventional farmers?
Well, they weren't even farmers. They just thought you're nuts. You went off the rocker. So, so you gotta prove that you wasn't all wrong. So, so it's been a real battle all my life, and I can't believe I'm still here to be able to tell it. That's what most people say. How did you manage? I said, well, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Yeah, so you have to, oh boy. But yeah, whenever we had calves and stuff sick, and oh my, it just tears you apart. Why? And you could never get answers from somebody that's supposed to have some answers. It just didn't happen. So you kept digging and digging and digging and digging. So it came across, and so yeah, now we're just, oh my, we haven't borrowed money for I don't know how many years now, and anything we buy is paid for.
How many acres are you farming right now?
We got, what is it, close to 500 acres certified.
Certified organic.
Yeah.
Through OFA.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, you were talking about how hard it was with people kind of saying you were off your rocker trying to do organic. So what was it like finding OFA and this network of other people?
Well, it was quite a relief. Believe me, it was quite a relief. Somebody thinking your way. So, but the problem was there, we started getting Ohio State people in there. They were all trained kind of toward the chemical end. So you had a hard time getting things certified that you knew wasn't wrong.
Give me an example.
Like live earth, fossil shell flour. Different things. Yeah, it was just, you always had to do a little arguing and get proof, and do a lot of, not just say, you had to find somebody that could help you out. So, so it's been quite interesting. Yep. So, we've, the barn there, we was about ready to lose it, it's getting close, and anyhow, we've rebuilt over about 150 feet of the barn below on that silo from this side of the silo on out It's all brand new. So, you know, we're working on it one at a time. So get this end fixed up. Yep. So it's, yeah. But it's all usable yet, and that barn was built in 1890. So, trying to save it, if at all possible.
How did you come to this piece of property? Were you raised here?
No. Well, yes. My dad got it back in the Depression for 80 acres for $20-some hundred from the government, whoever went bankrupt. That's how he got it.
Did you grow up here or no?
Yes.
On this land?
Right. We moved here when I was 5 years old.
You were born?
I was born about close to 5 miles from here.
So growing up, what was the farm like? How did your dad farm it?
Well, he didn't, well, my dad, when I was growing up, well, he followed all the recommendations from the extension people and the feed store people and that kind of stuff, you know, and that's what got us into trouble, really. We didn't realize it, had no idea, and yeah, well, that's how I see it now, that it was our mistake, so we had to fix it.
Now, your brothers and sisters, did they want to go into farming?
No, none of them. Well, one brother does some farming. Yeah, his grandkids does some farming now, but one of them was here, just on the porch here, just a few months ago. He wants to. He's graduated this year, and he says, you know, we're thinking about going organic. I said, well, I'll tell you. I said, I don't want to be nasty, but you'll have to, or you won't survive.
Financially or like health-wise?
Any way you look at it.
What drew you to want to become a farmer?
Well, I started milking cows in that barn when I was 6 years old, so that's all I knew. So you made the best of what you had. That's how that worked. So, you know, he just kept going, and things kept getting worse and worse until you hunt answers.
How did you live with feeling like your daughter's disability is connected to chemical exposure?
Well, it hurt. It hurt for quite a spell, because my wife's folks, it was hard for them. It was hard for them. So anyhow, but I got on the board, and well, we started the whole program here in Holmes County, and I'm involved with it for all these years. Now I'm not involved now, but yeah, I did for years and years. So yeah, we was trying to find answers, but we always had to end up going back to the medical world for answers. Well, now that's not exactly right. You know, you gotta come in between here. There's a different way of doing things. So, you know, it's worked out, and most of them, I think most all of them respect me for what I had to say and do. I do think so, because they always would put me on different programs and different, you know, I was involved.
What board? You said you were on a board in Knox County connected with your daughter?
Hmm?
You said you served on a board in Holmes County.
Yeah, Holmes
connected
County.
with your daughter. What board was that?
The MMRD board.
And at the time, were folks working in MMRD, were they thinking about chemical exposure or environmental factors?
No, that wasn't in the picture at all. No. Nope, it wasn't. No. Most of them, well, most of them's Amish, and they just went by what came to them, you know. So, no, it wasn't. No one was ever trying to come up with a why answer. I was one of those nuts that just couldn't stand it unless I knew. So that's how I got involved. And so anyhow, you know, met a lot of good people over the world and all over the county, and oh my, yes, doctors, lawyers, and you name it. So.
Do you remember when people started coming here and seeking out organically grown food?
Oh my, years ago, some families would come to get milk. And I had no reason why or nothing, you know. Back then, maybe it was 50 cents a gallon or whatever, you know. They'd come, get their milk and leave. And they was here for years and years. And Then it just kept going. Well, then the next thing you know, after I started getting, I knew we had something a little bit better. Well, then well, they were kind of, well, actually they were coming. One of them was a nurse practitioner from a very professional doctor in town, and she was getting milk 11, 12 o'clock at night. I had no idea who was doing it. Money was on the tank in the morning. I had no idea who was getting it.
Why?
Huh?
Why was she coming that late?
Well, she didn't want anybody to know what she's doing. See, you know, the medical world is very potent, is very, very strong. Anyhow, but yeah.
But there are doctors like the Homans who are onto this. You know?
Oh yeah, they're jumping the fence like you wouldn't believe now. Yeah. So you know, yeah, well, yeah. Well, that's why the doctor I got right now, well, she's the one that was getting milk at night, and had no idea who it was for a while till she finally came in and told us who she was. Oh, okay. But yeah, that's the way anybody gets milk here. They come get their own milk. That's the way I set it up. They come get their own milk and leave a donation. That's the way we let it set up for how many years.
Where do you sell the rest of what you grow?
Organic Valley. Organic Valley, yep.
You sell grains too?
Yes, we use some grain. Yes, we use some grain. But we have all organic grains, and we have our own spelts. We try to raise most of our own grains. We use. We don't use as much as we did, but
almost all the grains you raise go to the dairy. You're not selling grain.
No. I say when you sell stuff off the farm like that, you're selling the ground right off with it.
So tell me about your dairy. What kind of cows have you had over the years?
Oh, we got brown Swiss cows. We've had them for years and years. Dad's had some, and then after Dad left, whatever, and anyhow, a guy, well, he was some relative over by Nashville. He called me up. Hey, Ralph, you want a herd of cows? Oh, I don't know. What many you got? Oh, he had 10 or 11, or I don't remember, 10 or 12 or whatever it was. So we went and walked off, talked about it, and we bought them. So, but yeah, I wish I'd have known then what I know now. I would have had a better herd, but that's how you go through these things.
What do you mean a better herd?
Well, I wouldn't have been giving them all that poison feed there at first. See, that's hard to get across to people. So you know, people they just can't believe that corn and beans is toxic waste. There's no other word for it. So the milk, all the milk that's coming from those herds is considered as toxic waste. I mean, that's not nice. I mean, you don't like to tell that on some friends' dairies or whatever. You don't like to do that. So you don't. You just let them figure it out. That's what's got me puzzled. Why these dairy farmers can't see they're having all these problems with getting cows bred, and they don't last over a year or two in their herd at all. They can't buy heifers fast enough to keep replacements, and when they buy these heifers, well then half of those never get bred. I said, my, how can they, well, we've got some pretty potent loan officers here and told us that, so you know, they know, they just try to keep up the politics. So, yeah.
So this is part 2. We're sitting talking with Ralph Straits. I'm Jess Lamar Reece Holler. We're here in Holmes County, Friday, July 29th, 2016 for the Ohio Ecological Farm and Movement Memory Project. So I wanted to ask you, early on, did you have trouble making money selling things as organic, getting a premium for that, or was there
Yeah,
always a
yeah.
market?
Well, we just right, we did. The sale barns here, if it was organic, they wouldn't recognize it at all. They just
Same as regular.
yeah, yeah.
When did you start to differentiate?
Oh gosh, it's been well when people started coming here and buying, like Dr. Homan would come in here and buying things because they would go to the auctions and buy calves or whatever they buy, and they bring it home and they tell you, well, they had more, what the calf called them or whatever, and they had more money in the vet bill, and if they're lucky to get the calf to live. That's what bothered a lot of them. So that's why we get people that's yeah, that's because ours, I mean, we got some down below, well, Delaware County, down below Columbus there, they're buying calves off us every year for the fairs down there. Because they said, oh, yours will live. And mothers, we didn't have any or something, and we sent them someplace else. He said they wouldn't live.
How do you feel about the fact that our agriculture system is like it is, and most people aren't cued into these things or feel like they're not brave enough to do anything about it?
Well, we don't have the money. Monsanto controls your county agent. They control most all agriculture, period. So it's tough. It's tough. So it's again, you got to use your head.
How do you feel about the future of
About which?
the future of organic food?
Oh
in
my, it's
Ohio?
just growing so fast now that it's just blowing them. It's going to blow people's minds. Yeah, because they're just jumping the fence. So farmers all across the. Well, right now, since the soybean prices and the corn prices is what, $2 or $3, and that kind of thing. Well, they can't survive on that. So there's a pile of them jumping the fence. So we thought at first, if you have to buy grain, how are you going to get it? Because nobody's raising it, But now it's coming. You should see our newsletter every month, telling you where and what and oh my. There's grain coming out all over the country now.
What newsletter?
OFA's not OFA's, but Organic Valley's newsletter. Yep. So it's coming. It's just growing fast. So yeah. So it's amazing. See what's happening. It's I can't hardly. I said, man, I wish I'd have knew this then, But then this is fine. I made it. I survived, and so it's. I'm not denying it at all that I was wrong, and I'm not denying it that I was trying to do something right, and so Yep. It's quite a. You got to be a strong person to be able to handle it, because most people couldn't do it. They would just give up and put it up for sale. All this land right now, all these land around here for sale, $5,000-$10,000 an acre and whatever, They'll never pay for it. Where are we headed? Yeah, the boys are just, I think, at Farm and Dairy. Somebody bought I forget how many 100 acres, 1,000 acres or whatever, and they paid $450 million? Wow. Somebody knows something that we don't. They'd better. So,
What do you mean by that?
Huh?
What do you mean by that?
Well, they'd better. How in the world do they ever plan on paying that kind of money for that ground? But I'm assuming part of it's probably oil someplace along the line. There's money behind it someplace.
Is the oil economy a big thing in Holmes County?
Oil? No, not Holmes County. No.
I thought I saw some oil wells.
Yeah, we got some. We had in the Berea wells. No, not the Berea, but the oh, I forget, the ones that's down about 4,000 feet or something like that. They came through here and drilled a few of them there one time. And we had some of that, well, 4 or 5 of them there one time, but most of them are pretty well going already. And so, you know, so now then, see, they have to, when these oil wells, they have to put up so much money when they come in and start to drill a well that they can have to give some money, I forget how much, 15 or whatever, to be able to plug that whenever the time comes. So now, lo and behold, we had one down the lane down here that they plugged here last year. It cost $18,000 to get that hole plugged. And see, our taxpayers is paying for that. So there's a bunch of them like that right now. Yep, so you know.
For you, was turning to organics, was that connected to a spiritual practice or religion?
No, nope, wasn't at all. Because no, most we were Catholic, and no, most of the Catholics I knew were either teachers or soil people, or you know, something like that. And no, they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear it. Yeah, so it was pretty much on our own. But now as you go along, people start to ask you questions. You know. Okay.
So in the early days of finding OFA,
yeah.
how were you involved?
Oh my, I don't know. I never got too involved because I was stuck here because I had the chores to do. I couldn't. The boys weren't here anymore yet then at that age. So, you know, I didn't get to be too involved. I was involved in a lot of things down there, but nothing real positive.
Were you part of which chapter? Were you part of a chapter?
Not really. We never had actually a chapter right in here. We just never did. So there was never enough in Holmes County to do it. See, the Amish didn't like to join those kind of things. So, you know, well, so it was, so you just kind of done what you had to do and just kind of play along with your games, and yeah. So, you know, then as the time went on, well, when I went into bank a number of times there, a number of years there, well, the old county age come up to you and slap you on the shoulder, and Ralph, I had no idea you'd be able to hang on like this. Boy, oh boy, I'm glad you did, and oh boy.
Were you ever a part of the farm tours or anything like that?
I did some. Yeah, Ophis farm tours. Yeah, I did some. Yeah. Yep, but I was kind of stuck here. I couldn't do too much, but now I got the boys, and here I am sitting here. Anyhow, but we'll get out of here.
How did your sons get involved in the farm?
Well, Steve, the older son, he went to ATI. He took agriculture, and he was in FFA and that kind of things. And Ed, well, he decided he'd just go to mechanics out there at what do you call it, after the last couple of years of high school out there. But anyhow, he did that, and so he went and farmed with other farmers and such, you know, and he'd seen I needed help, and so next thing you know, well, they were sticking around. Well, Fred, he was the same way. He was going out milking cows for different people in Coshocton County and Tuscarawas County and that kind of thing, you know. And so anyhow, then he got a job. He's super intelligent, and he got a job up at Cleveland at a recycling place up there. Anyhow, he made awful good money, but he just one day he just came home. He said, "I'm not going to drive anymore." He said, "I'm not going to drive that. I can't do that. I won't do it." 'cause I'll just stay at home and help. So here he is. So, So Steve, now his wife's family have a farm up by West Salem up Wayne County. So he's kind of doing the farming up there then. So he raises it up there, we buy it and feed it to the cows here.
For the grain.
Yeah. Hay and such, yeah. Yeah, we get quite a bit of hay from up there, yeah.
What's your involvement like on the farm these days?
Mine? I'll sit and watch.
Is that hard?
Yes. It's not fun. It's not fun. Because you'll want to be active.
What have you loved about farming over the years? What's
I don't
kept you
know.
going?
It's the challenges, I guess. I guess that's what I'd have to put it. It's a challenge.
Can you give me an example?
Well, you have to, just like what I went through. All them. I had to find answers. And for oh my. Yes, it's one big challenge. And it keeps your mind is always looking for answers.
How did you, this is a question I've been asking people about this movement. How did you figure out what you thought was right in terms of the connection between food and health and environment?
Oh, well.
How did you navigate that?
Yeah, well, this here, Rebecca, the nurse practitioner was coming here, that's one. And also through, the wife's traditions and the oath of the meetings there. And, oh my, it could go on and on here. Gee whiz, yeah, because there's, because people's, today is always asking, why are people sick? Used to be, you had one doctor in Holmes County, and and he wasn't even busy. Now you got more doctors than you can throw your hand at, and they're all busier than scat. Why? If that don't tell you something, I don't know what does.
What even got you thinking about food and
Want to feed the cows?
How so?
That's what made me do this whole thing with the cows. I learned through the cows. They taught me the whole thing. Pretty much. I mean, that's, you saw what was happening. It just, plain and simple.
And you made a connection between what was going on with the cows and you.
Wasn't hard. Yeah, right. Yep. Oh yeah. You've been around a while. You'll see it.
What do you think people who are starting out in organic farming now need to know about?
Oh my gosh.
About you and how you figured this all out early on about this first generation.
They just need to find somebody. That's why I refer them to, like John's, some of the guys the one in Canada, Jerry Benetti in Pennsylvania. Poor old pup, he went and died, the darn net. I could kick him today, because I told him then, I said, Jerry, you're gonna have to settle down and quit doing all them cotton picking meetings and eat right. And he agreed with me. He knew it. He solved his cancer a couple of times, and him and I had our picture taken together. We solved our own cancer. Oh my.
You want to tell me about solving your cancer? Because we were talking a little bit before we turned this on, and you were saying, I said, did you do chemotherapy and radiation? You said, oh no.
Oh no.
So how did you find out, when you found out you had cancer, what did you decide to do?
Well, I decided because I knew that there one gentleman from Arizona was here at our church in the basement with John Small, had him come, and he told us all about it.
About what?
About child cured cancer with peroxide. And of course, we had a whole room full of people, but there's might be 3 or 4 of them that actually hurt him.
Like really hurt him?
Yeah, right. And I know 1 or 2 of them today is still pushing it.
Did you know you had cancer at the time?
No, I had no idea. Anyhow, what happened was my neighbor down over the hill here, she's a nurse. Anyhow, she got one of those new machines that tests your toes and fingers and that kind of stuff, And she said, Ralph, how about I test you on some time? I said, oh, I'm not want to be a guinea pig, I'm no guinea pig. So anyhow, she finally got so that she says, Ralph, I'm going to bring it out and we're going to test you. I said, oh, okay, all right. So we finally did, and she found out my liver was full. 92 on one side and 93 on the other plugged.
Full of what?
All them chemicals I'd used over the years. Well, we washed cows with chlorine for years, all them years, all that stuff. All that stuff. It was all in there. In there for 40-some years.
What did you do?
So anyhow, she said to me, she says, do you know what you're going to do? I says, no. I said, what's your suggestion? She said, do you want to do a liver flush? I said, well, I have no idea what it is, but if you say so, you're my neighbor, I'll trust you. So we did it. I spent 3 days sitting in there, and first that stuff started coming, I knew it was that 2,4-D, that insecticide. I knew that's what it was. The smell was so strong that you couldn't get away from it.
How did you do the liver flush?
Well, with a whole bunch of herbs and whatever, and you just drank the stuff for a few days or whatever, and it just dissolved it and got it out of there.
You drank the peroxide. You were sitting in a bathtub, or you were drinking it?
Oh, I've done both. I'm up mainly to cure the cancer. I laid in the tub 45 minutes every night for a spell, and then it was coming out right here. Pebbled, little round pebbles and whatever,
Comes out through your skin.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What was that like?
Well, it was scary. But anyhow, so I stayed in the tub there every bit there for a spell, and then heck, it was all disappearing. But I had two of them right here. It was kind of right in here that I probably wasn't immersed quite in the water enough or something. But anyhow, I said, well, if that works, I said, you know what I'm going to do? So I took my 50% peroxide, put my Q-tip in it, and touched these two spots twice. They're clear gone. There is no sign of any scar or anything.
What happened to the spots and the pebbles? They came out and you could hold them in your hand?
No. It's just a circle like this, and it's just all kinds of little bubbly stuff in it. Yeah, it's very obvious. It's not right.
And it goes out into the water, into the air?
Well, it's just a sore spot, and it'll just keep growing if you don't do something about it. Skin cancer is what it is. Yeah, so it's so simple to do, but most people can't believe it. They just can't see how that'll work, and so it's all right.
How did you figure out that this is what would work for you?
Well, Rebecca, she right out here in the middle of the driveway one night, she told me, said, when I was telling her about the liver flush, she said, no, I don't want to scare you, but I'll guarantee you'll get skin cancer. Okay?
If you did the flush?
Huh?
Why would you get skin cancer?
Because that poison's in there. It's got to get out. And so so anyhow, she told me what to do, but I've asked her since, if she remember, no, that wasn't me, because see, she's not allowed to tell. She's not allowed to tell.
So what, can you say what the formula was, or what you did? It's just 50% peroxide.
Oh, I put in 50%, a pint. First I put in a pint of 50%. Then I put in some baking soda, which alone will actually end up. There's been meetings around here now, but baking soda alone will cure cancer. And then the salt. Make sure you use a good salt. you need all the minerals that's in there that you don't not normally getting. So that's all I can say is it worked. I can say it worked.
What's it like feeling that what healed you isn't something that any doctor would ever talk about?
Well, the doctor would, he would probably, well, one doctor was actually, he was pointing at me because somebody in church, I told them what I'd done, and the doctor was in church, and he was pointing his finger at me. He says, "That's not right, Ralph. You know better than that." Oh, yeah. So, you know.
It's funny though, because it seems like a lot of the solutions to how we should be farming are they're right there in front of us. But
yeah, it is. It's too simple. It's too simple. It's too simple.
Do you feel like you're healthy right now?
Oh, I'm pretty good, except this here dumb thing got to me here, and I had the wrong medications and stuff, and then my heart was slowed down too slow, and the water was building up, and oh boy, I can't walk. I couldn't walk, and so anyhow, she got me on some different stuff here the other day, and well, we're getting rid of it. We're getting rid of it. It's getting better. It's gonna come. Yep, she assured me today. She called me today. "Don't you worry, Ralph. We're going to get you right. We're going to get you going. We're going to get you fixed up." I said, "Okay." Well, she also, in the medication, found out that my protein was all messed up. I said, "What?" That was a hard one to swallow. And she says, "Yes, it's messed up." I said, "Okay." I said, "I do have heard that these medications will wipe out vitamins and minerals as fast as you put them in if you don't put in enough to keep ahead of it. So there has to be something to it."
So what do you do?
I make sure that live earth, I take some of that, a couple ounces of that every day.
Personally, you take it?
Yeah.
And that's normally what you put in your fields?
Put in the fields, put in the cow feed. Everything the cow eats or whatever is good for you. I mean, it's just that simple. It's hard to swallow, but it's true.
What would you say to someone maybe listening to this who doesn't really feel like our health and our food and our environment are all connected? What would you tell
Oh
them?
my, it's no question. It's all connected. It's well, actually, Monsanto's doing this on purpose in order to control the population. That's a lot of it. I don't know how far it goes, but then after you get involved with this stuff, and that's you know it has to be. Well, then our foods none of it has any value to it anymore. So much of it, anyhow, unless you know where you're getting it, know how it's raised, know the whole story. You don't know anything unless you know the whole story.
For you, is farming this way and taking care of yourself in this way, is it a form of activism or a form of protest or
Not really. Just you just wanted to survive.
survival?
You just wanted to survive because everybody downplayed you so much that you just had to prove that they're wrong somehow. So uphill battle.
I'm curious what it's been like farming this way in Holmes County in particular. There's a strong agricultural history here.
Yes, the Amish are, but
Hold on one sec.
yeah,
All right.
she's got it.
All right, I'm back on. And
But
we're back.
anyhow, yeah. Well, it's oh my. Huh. Where were we at? I lost it.
I was asking you about what it's like to try to farm this way, to have done that in Holmes County.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, the Amish. Don't put this on.
Well, do you want me to pause it, or do you want to?
I don't.
Say it in a
I
different
don't.
way?
I don't want to talk again because they mean so well, and they're having an awful time trying to survive, and they're doing everything that they can, but they were putting this chicken manure on. 3 tons to the acre equals a spray of all the sprays.
So you're saying it's just as bad?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, it's tough, but some of them are realizing it. Some are realizing it. You know, one long ago, another just recently wondered he wanted to know about it. And I told him. Then another one down below, down toward Glenmont. His wife was here, and she was telling about it. And I said, well, I said, you know, and she said, you know, we've been thinking about this. So you know. So it's implementing itself in. It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's slow, but it's coming. Yeah. Yep.
What are some
But
things? Oh, go ahead.
everybody want everybody to like to make a living without, you know, hollering for welfare and all that stuff. So that's what keeps things. You find a way you can make a living somehow.
Has it been a good living for you doing this?
Well, right now, we never in my life thought I could have $50,000 in a checkbook, and I didn't have to spend it for anything in particular. I mean, come on. Before that, it was always borrow. See, that's why the bankers were in on this too, see, because they didn't want you to loan, they would loan money, and well, then lo and behold, what do you know, they own your property. And that's why so many of them today is, they're going, now since this their grain prices, whatever, they're going to go broke. I had two Irish girls sitting here on the porch last fall, and one of them said, oh, my family's in the dairy business in Ireland. Oh, that's interesting. What's going on in dairy business over in Ireland? She said, guess what? She said, all of them most of them are going back to the family-sized farms, and the big ones are all going broke. So I said, that's exactly what's happening here right now.
You see that in the future.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, the family needs to raise their kids out here. It's a family affair. I mean, it's a, how would you put it? My gracious. It's only kids learn how to do things. And, of course, some do it way overboard, too. So, you know, you have to kind of use your head again. But, you know, it's the only way they can raise family. The way they're raising families in these cities is it's a rat's nest. It's a rat's nest. There's no other way around it. Those poor kids going to drugs, and well, they're out in the gangs and drugs. Oh, just beyond control right now. So they need actually one guy told me, a number of years ago, he says, I want to tell you something. He said, if you went to college, you came home, you cheated, you have to cheat your way through life.
How so?
Huh?
How so?
I mean, because you're taught one way, and you have to come out here and you're sitting behind a desk trying to finagle all the figures and whatever, and so I'm sure you can see what I'm saying. I don't need to be too specific about it, but I think of that every once in a while. I thought, that guy knew what he was talking about, because you see it, because the poor kids today going through all this college, and they don't know where they're going. They come home, working at McDonald's or working at whatever, they're lost. They're lost. So, I don't know. The whole system has to change some way or another. And I won't say Obama can do it.
What would you like to see?
I don't know. You get on the fence, you say, I think I won't even vote, but no, you better be voting. So you know. Yes, yes, they all got good intentions. They all can talk you into all kinds of things, and oh my. So you don't even want to listen to part of it anymore. It's just too much blab and not enough real stuff. Oh, well, anyhow. Yep. Oh, it's been quite a story for me, I'll tell you. Yep.
I wanted to ask you real quick about the coming of organic certification and if that changed what you were doing at all or how people received you.
Well, that's kind of a hard one to question, because you know there's so many people that cheats out there. They're after that dollar, and if they aren't pretty strict, you know what you got. You got some bum food. I don't know how else to put it, because you know that almighty dollar has a lot to talk, and I mean it talks out loud, and yeah, anyhow, it's rough.
So certification, you feel like?
It needs to be pretty stiff. It has to be.
How do you feel about how it is right now?
Well, it's stiff. Was my one son Steve, he does the bookkeeping, and oh my gosh, it's just one question right after another, and so it's been tough trying to keep up. Trying to say, yeah, well, that's Steve. Oh. Something Steve just drove in, I think. Looks like his truck. Anyhow, so, yep, well, but it has to be pretty strict, or you're going to have a flobby-dobby mess out there.
You guys are certified?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Was there anything you haven't gotten to talk about yet in terms of who you are and why you've done this with your life?
Oh, my.
Big question, sorry.
I did it to survive. Trying to survive. Wanting answers. Why? And I think, well, at night when I was out there plowing 11, 12 o'clock at night, I did an awful lot of praying. I needed help. And I didn't know where else to get it. Because most people just didn't see it that way. So you prayed, and I assure you, they were all answered.
Looking back now on your career, we're in a really different place in terms of organic.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Well, it's great. It's great. Yeah, it's nice to see how fast it's growing now. My oh my oh my! It's going by leaps and bounds, and so yeah, it's just yeah, you just can't quite imagine that it could run this fast, but it is. It's going. It's going.
Someone told me, I think early on doing these interviews, I think someone said it's almost as bad to come too early to find something before it's recognized,
Yeah,
as it is to come too late.
that's right. That's right. That's a lot of truth there. Very much so. Very much so. Yep.
Looking back on things, if you had to do it again, would you?
Oh my! I would have been on the other side of the fence a long, long time ago. I didn't know. You didn't know who you could trust. You try to. You know you're in trouble. You're not making any money. IRS was on me, and you know, oh my! So you kind of take things pretty seriously and not get too jump over the fence too fast.
You have to be cautious.
Right, very cautious.
If you had to do it again, would you have done that way?
Well, I don't know. Hard to tell. With the information's available today, my oh my, clear different story. Clear different story. Yes. It's just yeah. It's not the same. Back when we was hunting answers, yep, it wasn't. There were no answers there really. We was just doing it wrong, and that's all there was to it. So we had to find out how the cows do, and that's how I learned, was through the cows. They're the one that taught me. They taught me the whole thing right straight through, because we had so many problems and all this and that, and I always questioned it, but always got that negative answer, and it wasn't what it should be. But I can't blame them, because that's the way they were taught. Mm-hmm. I can't blame them. That was their, so, But you just had to work at it yourself and be a little bit determined about it.
Do you ever wish you were born later, like if you were 20 years old and starting farming now when it was a lot bigger of an organic movement?
Oh my, would that be easy? Oh my, would that be easy?
No fun in that, huh?
Wow. Yes. Oh my. Yep, well, that's why we get a lot of questions and people wanting to know different things and why. And so everybody has to do their own choosing for sure, what they want to do and why, and you can't tell them how to do it entirely, because everybody has a little different approach and it affected them a little bit different, and there's so many things involved.
What would you tell someone listening to this who doesn't eat organic and they keep telling themselves, oh, it doesn't matter, the chemicals won't hurt me?
Yeah.
What would you tell them about why organic does matter?
Well, it's a little like this. When you get sick, you'll have to question, where did this come from? Why? And that's what's happening today. So many people are sick or whatever. They got cancer, and I could have cured right in church. I could have told down how to cure cancer, and they said, well, Ralph, if this don't work, I'll be out. So we'll see. So when you get down and hurt really super bad, you do a lot of sincere thinking, because it's got to work. Because you'll bruise your shirt if you don't. And that's, might say, where I was at. Because, there was a time there when the taxes bills was getting out, I couldn't pay them, and oh my. Enough of that.
Looking ahead at how things are going in the world we're
Wow.
in, how do you feel?
Well, it's going to be quite a challenge in a way, but then an awful lot of people are depending on this what do you say, not so nice way of farming, or not so way say doing things for their living. So it's kind of hard to see what they'll come up with on that. So some are, some aren't. So
Is there anything else you'd like to add that you haven't gotten to say?
Oh my! You've got about all I need. You got me drained.
I think I'm hearing some forks, so I don't want to
Huh?
I don't want to keep you from your dinner. I don't know if they're eating yet.
Oh, well, it'll get around 5 o'clock or so, then they'll start showing up.
Well, thank you so much for sharing
Sure.
with me. I hope I didn't wear you out too much.
Nope. It's something I can do. I remember it. It's stuck in my head. It's fast. It won't leave.
Thank you for searching for answers and for putting this work in so early.
Okay, well, thank you for putting it out, helping people to realize we need to wake up.
Thank you. Once again, we're talking today with Ralph Straits.
Okay.
We're here in Holmes County. It's July 29th, 2016 for the Ohio Ecological Food Farm and Movement Memory Project. I'm Jess Lamar Reece Holler. Ralph, could I have you sign off?
Sure. Well, I thank you for the interview, and it's been a pleasure. You've been a pleasure to work with here, and you seem to be very knowledgeable of a lot of these things that normally you wouldn't have seen before. So we're not talking on the wrong street. I can see that.
That's something, right?
Right.
That's why I'm excited to get to do these interviews, because sometimes I think if people could slow down and listen to other people tell their stories, I
Well,
think
yeah. Well,
that might start to change things.
well, it'll definitely. Well, when you hurt, when you get down, when you hurt, you will start to listen. That's when it takes a hold. So been interesting, and yes, it's oh my. So anyhow, the boys are my. They bartered the other day. A guy, the other end of the county, he went and got a one of them there gators or whatever you want to call them, to try out. He went down across the pasture field and ran over a brand new calf. Didn't know it was there. Killed it. So anyhow, we're doing a little bartering there because Steve, our granddaughter, is raising a dairy steer, not the beef part, but the feeder calf. Anyhow, why they promised us, since we're organic and we kind of work together at the fair, you can't see, you just don't talk about this stuff. So he promised, if you do whatever, I'll buy your calf. So we'll see. But anyhow, the other day on this calf, why he wanted to know if we had a brand new calf up here, and he says, "Well, yeah, we got a brand new one just last night." He said, "Well, how about if we barter? I'll trade you a couple of pigs for a calf." So that's what we did.
This is the one that got killed, though?
Huh?
This was the one that got killed?
Well, he thought they would take our calf and put it with the mother. Maybe she would feed it. But they took the calf down, put it in the pen, and the mother, she took off, jumped the fence and took off.
Well, which one got killed by the tractor?
Well, the cat, the baby.
Because the mother was gone.
Yeah. Well, no, she was there, but yeah, she was in there. Well, then they put this new calf in there, thinking maybe it might, try to feed it that way, but she didn't have anything to do with it. She just took off.
Is there anything else you
So
want
I
to
don't know what else. I don't know what else, if they got anything accomplished since or not. I don't know. So we'll see.
Well, thank you so much, Ralph.
Sure.
I've really enjoyed speaking with you. Anything else you didn't get to say?
I don't think I need to say anything else.
I hope you get better soon.
Oh, thank you kindly, and I am going to.
Thank you so much.